What's up guys, it's Alyssa and today I'm making a video. As you can already tell, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys my serious prose for this year. And I don't want to make this intro too long, so I will hop right in. But before I do, I just wanted to let you guys know that down in the description below I left a link that is unlisted, so it's not public, but it's not private unless you have a link, which you guys do. And if you're interested, this shows this speech, which is like, I'm about to go to state. I leave for state tomorrow. So it's this speech versus the very first competition speech. So it was all the way back in January. That was when I recorded that one. So that kind of shows you side by side and shows you how much I've grown and what I changed. And I think it's really interesting. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and look at that down below. But without further ado, let's get straight on to the speechin'. I like to make stars in my head or trace them with my finger, just like you doodle with a pencil on the side of a piece of paper. Someone will be talking to me and it looks like I'm listening, but really all I'm doing is drawing one line of the star for every one word that person says. Our conversation has to end on a multiple of 5, a complete star. My husband might say to me, "What do you want for dinner?" 1 1/5 stars. How about pizza? 1 4/5. Do you have any idea? 2 4/5. Why don't we just make pasta? 4 stars. You know, it'd been almost a decade since I'd taken a pill, and I was not thrilled to find myself about to swallow one. But I just stood in front of the sink for a moment and took a deep breath. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is an anxiety disorder in which people have unwanted or repeated thoughts or behaviors that make them feel driven to do something. If left untreated, this can destroy a person's capacity to function at school, at work, or even to lead a comfortable existence in the home. While OCD is a serious mental illness, we can all relate to getting caught up in what doesn't matter and losing what does. Just Checking by Emily Collis. There was no secret to my husband being my safe zone. It came down to survival, plain and simple. I needed my worries spinned out, but I also needed not to die, so I found a way for those two to coexist. I'd engage in the former while my husband prevented the latter. It's not that he wanted the role so bad, it was more of an evolution. The more he helped me, the more I needed him to. And he did it all in a logical, rational, calming sort of way, without challenging the whole structure. He accepted the role. And so I got what I needed, and I presumed he did as well. At least for a little while, anyway. I tried really hard not to worry because it was starting to wear on my husband, but new things to fret about seemed to keep popping up. Take my friend, for example, who accidentally shut her cat in her dryer. She turned it on, and in an hour when it buzzed, she opened it up and saw Fluffy. So now I had a new thing to check. Every time I used the dishwasher, the blender, the disposal, I had to countlessly check that my cats weren't inside. My husband's role continued to evolve. My pregnancy was the springboard. I thought it would be lovely to have a baby around. I kept imagining that I was going to have a girl and name her Grace. On the outside, I was so excited. But on the inside, I was freaking out. I mean, what if she had a birth defect? To try and ease my mind, my husband went out and bought me a book. It had a lovely title, Peace of Mind During Pregnancy. The subtitle, An A to Z Guide of Substances That Could Affect Your Unborn Baby, Skeletal and Facial Abnormality, Severe Brain Defect. I felt really peaceful. Well, our son was born. There was this one time when the TV was on and I wasn't paying any attention, so I was shocked to notice what was on the screen as I went to turn up the volume. There was this guy, and he was spitting blood into the snow, and I thought I contracted a disease, and I told my husband. And he'd always been the one to rationalize my fears as either an unusual personality quirk or a pregnancy hormone. But at this moment, he was unable to differentiate me from any other crazy person. That night, he walked around the house, shaking his head, and he would say things like, "You really don't believe that, do you? That show was taped months ago. There's no way that any disease could live that long in the air. Besides, there's a screen between you and the blood." 7 stars. We got into a fight. Words were had, things were thrown, and at the end of it all, the one casualty was my toothbrush. He was lying there under the broken glass from the light bulb that had been smashed from the shoe my husband had thrown. But you see, he was going away to a conference, so since I would be without my link to the outside world for a week, he had to spend the entire day stocking up the household with the items I need. Then he had to check that all the items were safely sealed, and after he did that, I quizzed him to see if he followed proper procedure. Did all the boxes check out? Yes. Did you go over them all? I said they checked out. That means they did. And did you wash your hands? I'm not an idiot. What if he snapped? He was pacing around the house, cursing and spitting. There wasn't much he could do, so he just picked up that shoe and hurled it, and we watched. The shoe flew across the room and hit the light. And we saw the glass fall down and contaminate my toothbrush. I looked at my husband. He looked back at me. We both knew what had to happen. And so he left to go get me another toothbrush. It's not like I don't want to stop. Well, maybe there's a small part of me that doesn't. But for the most part, the biggest, hugest part, I do. You know, it was probably a lot of things. Not just one monumental moment, but lots of little things that finally got to him. Truthfully, I'm not sure it was the worries. Sure, he'd probably prefer I wasn't like that. But I don't think they were it. For me, they were. I mean, they were the beginning, the middle, and the end. But for him, I think they were like something you put up with. Some wives spend too much money, others. I don't exactly know what it was. What wasn't working. But I don't think it was worries. So, here I am, standing in front of my sink, not thrilled that sometime in the next hour or so I'm going to be taking a prescribed mind-altering chemical. I decide to call my husband for support, and I ask him if he wants to come over while I take my pill. He's shocked. He really didn't think I'd take this step, and he's encouraged, and he wants to support me, so he drives over. Once he arrives, I tell him I'm seeing the serious therapist and that I'm going to be taking this medication as well, and, well, truthfully, I'm a bit nervous about it all, and happy to have the company when I choke down my first dose. He brings me over a glass of water as I shake a capsule out of the bottle and into the palm of my hand. After I take it, he just looks at me. Looks sweetly. And he comes over and he wraps his arms around me. And he tells me, "I'm really proud of you. 1 star."